Hello, this is my persuasive speech, and I want to swing the camera around, show you my audience member. Okay, so my persuasive speech topic is, it's about how I think it should be almost required. I don't know if it's required in California, but it was in Michigan where I grew up. Required that students take at least 2 years of a foreign language when they're in high school. And the reason I think this is a good idea is it not only helps with being able to figure things out mentally. It helps people grow intellectually. It also helps people expand their horizons, maybe want to travel internationally when they wouldn't want to before. And overall, I just think it's a very good idea. And so I'm going to try, hopefully, and persuade you all to either learn a foreign language yourself, or if you have kids, maybe inspire them to learn foreign languages themselves. So, one of the statistics that I read while looking up this speech, it's kind of a sad statistic. It's from theatlantic.com. It says less than 1% of American adults are proficient in a foreign language they learned in a U.S. classroom. So what that means is even if you learn something like Spanish or French in high school, by the time you're 25, 30 years old, you've forgotten it. And this is something that's unfortunately fairly common across the country. People don't really need to use a foreign language. If you live in Idaho or Oklahoma, you're only going to interact with people who speak English. So it's something that just people learn in high school, I think, because they have to. They don't really have to keep up with it after they graduate. It's just something that's required, and so they learn it, then they kind of drop it, and they forget about it. I also read another statistic on educationweek.com that says only 20% of K through 12th grade students are learning a foreign language, something I thought was kind of sad. Like I said before, when I was in high school, it was not required, but it was really pushed that you learn a foreign language, because if you wanted to get into a four-year college, that was something that was looked highly upon. So I just thought it was something that most people did, but reading that statistic really kind of shocked me. And so I'm hoping that I can persuade more people to learn a foreign language. So I also read an interesting statistic in theguardian.com that has to do more with how people grow intellectually when they learn a foreign language. They learn different speech patterns and different ways of putting words together and different grammar. And in theguardian.com, they did a study. They did MRIs, actually, of people that were in the military, people that learn foreign languages like Arabic or Russian in order to perform their jobs. And what they learned is that these people, they had kind of brain developments in which their brain structures begin to actually grow. The physical size of their brains grew. And they did kind of a control. They did people who didn't learn a foreign language and people who did. And they studied this, and they saw that people with foreign language skills actually grew intellectually. So it's not only good for just getting out there and learning a new culture and growing new experiences. It also can actually help you mentally grow too and become much smarter. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story. I studied German in high school. I took it for 2 years. I started to take it for a third year, and I didn't really keep up with it over the summer like the rest of the students. So I ended up dropping it. I didn't really need it after 2 years anyway, so I figured, what the heck, why should I keep going when everyone else is more advanced than me? And so what happened was I found that I kind of missed learning a foreign language, so that was really interesting, and it's kind of fun to go try and talk to someone in another country in their own language, and they find it really, they really like it when you try it and you make the effort. So I taught myself French over a couple years, and I also taught myself a little bit of Spanish. I don't remember too much, but my visual aid I wanted to show everyone that I think really helps is a Spanish stories dual language book. And so what happens is you open the book and you can see that you have on one side you have Spanish, and on the other side you have English. And so it really helps you kind of go back and forth and test your knowledge of languages, and it'll help you grow, and it won't be too grammar heavy, which is something I always thought was a kind of a negative. Grammar kind of turns a lot of people off of learning a foreign language. One of the other things I looked up and I thought was really interesting was an article on BBC.com called "How Learning a Foreign Language Changed My Life." and there was a young man named Alex Schiffer who went to Germany and had no knowledge of German. He ended up learning German there, and he became more confident as a result. He ended up working on a website for the biggest German football league, and editing their website and interviewing people who played football, which was a passion of his. And so, without learning a foreign language, it would have been very difficult for him. It would have been very reserved, and it wouldn't have changed his life the way it did. There was one more statistic I found that I wanted to share on a website called omniglot.com. And it was, well, it wasn't really a statistic, it was more of a story. Like, you begin to understand other people's worldviews, you judge people less, and you appreciate them more. If you learn a foreign language, if you go somewhere else in the world, you kind of see the way people act and the way people think, and it's all tied to language. Language and culture are tied together very, very tightly. So, language really is kind of the foundation of cultural identity, and I think it's something that people would benefit if they learned for a couple of years. I think it would inspire them to travel more and to see other parts of the world they might not go to see and try to interact with people in their own language. I think some people get nervous and think that people are going to judge them or ridicule them. That's rarely the case. Even when I went to France, and France is a country you think people would kind of look down their nose at you. I was in Paris, and I tried to speak to people in French, and they thought it was really, they really liked it. They thought it was really interesting, and they probably didn't expect an American to try and speak French to them. So if I could persuade everyone to take at least a couple years of a foreign language in high school, or even make it required here in California, which I'm not sure it is, I think people would broaden their horizons, they become smarter, and they become more worldly and want to get out there and travel. So that's my persuasive speech, and I hope it persuaded you. Thanks.